Pantazi, the new podcast. One of the subscribers has written in and asked about head and neck points, so I figured on this next podcast we'd just demonstrate a little bit. Now these are a point called MHN18. It's actually on what's called the mental nerve. There's a hole in the skull I'll show you later that's called the mental foramen. A foramen is just a hole, and the nerve comes out there. Now it's located right under the corner of the mouth. A while back I used to think it was stomach 4, but looking further, stomach 4 is somewhere up here. I even put it on videos, so that's why the value of these newer podcasts, to keep you updated on the discoveries. Now these 2 points are supposed to be where the mental nerve lies, and I'm going to prove to you that it's not pressure points. You just have to know the nerve structure and how to access them. So instead of looking at this quarter size shaped area where you have to hit in a real battle, the area is actually about this big. Okay, it encompasses the whole front of the chin, and I'll show you why in a second. Let's peel back some layers here. Let's get rid of the skin a little bit. Okay, just love these charts. Okay, you're not going to find anything like this anywhere on the internet except for here at qshow.com. That's a little plug, sorry about that. And let's get some of this away. Now you can see where the nerves start to come out. We'll take a better look at this a little later. I've zoomed in on this page so you can see it a little better as it is, but I've got some other views to go through as well. Now these nerves cut right across. You can see this whole branch of nerve coming right across the lower part of the chin. It's underneath the muscle, okay, and there's a very thin layer of muscle there, but there is a layer as well. Okay, now what you can't see from this illustration, there's also some vascular tissue that comes out at that point too. It's called the mental artery that also goes along with that. So let's go to another picture here. This one's a diagram from stomach 5 that I already peeled back just a little bit, but you can see this nerve right here, the mental nerve that ties into the cranial nerves. There's the little branch system, and notice how it's like underneath that layer you have the skin, you have the muscle tissue, and that wraps right around on the bone. So you're going to have to penetrate past those layers of skin and muscle, which isn't bad because it's not that thick in that area. Okay, at best angle and direction is you want to hit it down and in to send the shock wave into the nerve. Okay, let's take another look at this too. You can see it cuts right across the whole lower part of the chin. It's a pretty big branching system. Now if we look at the description of this, a mental nerve is a general somatic afferent. Now that's a sensory nerve. Okay, so what that does is it takes, it's not a motor nerve. It doesn't really do anything to physically move the jaw, but what it does is it takes input in and it provides the sensations, so you can have feeling. So this is important to know. We don't want to think of this as a motor nerve or an autonomic nerve. It's sensory. Okay, so that plays a big part later on. Now here's someone else's chart, and I gotta say, qshow.com has better charts. Sorry for the plug again, but we can see where the mental nerve exits this hole, the mental foramen, and exits right in through there. That's just an annoying looking picture, so let's get it out of there. Okay, you look to Gray's anatomy and you'll see that it's behind the bone here. Okay, and it exits a hole in the skull right there. That's important because you know you can't hit this nerve back in this area. Now you have the stomach 5 area here, which is another nerve altogether that comes up, so you can access a point right about here as well, right underneath this one. So, but for your angle and direction, look at the branching of that. Okay, you really don't have to hit it exact. I mean, you got the whole front of the lower chin. Now if we look at this one, it just goes into the mandibular area. That's just to show you a little topography or what's going on with the some of the layers there. And we'll take another look at another Gray's picture that has it, where the mental nerve and the mental artery are actually emanating from that hole and how it travels up underneath the ear into that nerve system right there. So getting back to the mental nerve, you really want to strike this, but you can strike this whole area. You just strike it down and in at a 45-degree angle. Now from the midline to this side, it's better if you hit toward that side. From the midline here, it's better if you angle it a little bit this way, again, to chase that message up into the brain. Okay, now we're going to also show you a stimulation of this nerve. You'll see how it affects the person as well in this podcast after the descriptions just a little bit. But let's go into the stomach area 5. Yeah, I think we can get here from here. Now we're going to leave that. We're going to cut out the vascular. We'll cut way back on the nerve there and the skin as well, and even the muscle. We don't need that. But you can see how that nerve just exits and wraps right around the lower part of the jaw. Okay, even if we did this in this diagram here, it's kind of hard to see because as you leave the rest of the nerve system up from this angle, you're going to see it's pretty difficult to see what it's happening. But as we bring that up, you'll see that this little hole here on either side. Okay, let's bring the nerve back into it a little bit. You'll start to see that it emits from that, not emits, but emerges from that little hole. And that's what you really want to keep in mind. But again, this is your target. So those guys that are saying, oh, you can't hit a little point in a fight, well, you can if you practice hard enough, and we did. And we got very good at it. But now that we have those skills, and also the fact that we can hit this whole dynamic area, that's about the size of your whole fist. Really hard to miss. If you get a good clean shot on it, guy's going down. So that's a little bit about the diagrams. Let's go into the demonstration, and I thank you, Bob, for your question on which point to handle. This is the mental nerve, MHN 18, for you guys that are stuck in the paradigm of TCM. I'd say once again, get yourself out of that paradigm. Your education will expand. Your skills will go exponential. Thanks. Now, in a self-defense situation where someone has backed you up against the wall and they've pushed you, a lot of times people will spend time struggling against this arm. This is his strength. He's got his weight into it. I have a lot of force against my back, too, so it's hard for me to maneuver this hand. It's hard for me to really get a good, clean attack on his arms. Okay, sometimes grabbing this is a little convoluted in a real self-defense situation. It's not quick. It's not rapid. All I have to do is, as soon as he grabs me and pushes me up against the wall, is just strike on that mental nerve once again. So as soon as the person comes up and pushes me, 1, 2, we'll do that. Okay? So once again, 1, 2. And down and out he goes. Just stay there. Okay, he's trying to get up, but he can't. There's a lot of physical dysfunction with this. Okay, as you've seen the last couple techniques, I didn't destroy the person's face or skin. Okay, it's easy to get away.